is that he is not only a leader, but he is a business leader. And with that, it is my great pleasure and privilege to introduce the Governor of Massachusetts, the Honorable Deval Patrick.
Thank you. Josh, thank you for the very generous introduction. And Joyce, yes, I heard you say speed this up. Was she talking to me or you? I want to thank the members of the council, the trustees and staff, Joyce, even Joyce. Josh, thank you for the very generous introduction, and thank you all for having me today. I hope what we can do mainly today is have some conversation. I've got about 10 minutes of comments I'd like to offer just to set the table. But I hope that you will use the open mics and come with the time that Joyce allows us to actually have some conversation, because as kind and generous as Josh was, I'm not that good. I am actually kind of primitive when it comes to technology. The state troopers will confirm that just yesterday when I tried to light the fire in the governor's office, I filled the whole suite with smoke. What I do understand is that using technology that many of you in this room have invented and cultivated and helped make more accessible is a way of connecting people who don't often have a way to connect to each other. It's not just in email. It's not even just in web access. It's how we make services and products and ideas available so that we take advantage of the talent we know exists in every community in the Commonwealth. And so when I got advice as a candidate early on to run a grassroots campaign, that made perfect sense to me, because I think a whole lot of other people were feeling just as I was about how unconnected to their government and how they weren't responsible for their government, the same way I was feeling. But if you take that notion and that hunger to be connected in community, to see your stake in each other's dreams and struggles as well as our own, and you then add to that technological capability, it's a whole new world. And that is what, with the help of people who did know what they were talking about, Josh, I think we transformed politics in Massachusetts. It's that I want to take now to transform government and business in Massachusetts. And I want to talk a little bit about that. We have always been fertile ground for the information technology sector. Our IT firms, in close collaboration with our colleges and universities, have played a very important role in every major advance of the field, from the earliest mini computers and mainframes and software to robotics, to RFID, to Monster.com. The list goes on and on. Some of the world's most significant innovations in the last century had their genesis in our own backyard, things that were incubated in your industry. The innovative spirit that brought all of that about is still alive and well in the Commonwealth. A small statistic just to illustrate that point. Earlier this month, you may know, the Boston Business Journal reported that in 2006, inventors and creative entrepreneurs from this Commonwealth registered 5,666 new patents with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, setting a new annual record and surpassing the previous year's mark by 33%. Emerging industries like biomedicine and alternative and renewable energy have taken their rightful place alongside tech companies as key elements of our innovation economy, and it is growing in size and pace all over the world. My point is that the growth of the innovation economy is not so much a question of if or even when. It's a question of where. And I want to say as plainly and unequivocally as possible that Massachusetts wants you. We want your companies, We want your expansion. We want your growth. We want your jobs. We want your investment. And my job is to do whatever I can on behalf of the Commonwealth to make this as intriguing and as tempting an environment for you to see your future as I possibly can. We have world-class universities, public and private. We have great concentrations of intellectual capital, of venture capital. We have a tradition of innovation and entrepreneurial spirit that dates back centuries. In other words, we have everything you need to spark that new growth. And not just in Kendall Square, by the way. I love Kendall Square. This is not a dig at Kendall Square. Not just within the greater Boston area, but all over the Commonwealth. We have environments and conditions that can make sense for you to set down stakes and to grow your businesses. And that's what we want to be about. But yesterday's greatness, and I've made this point to some of you before, won't assure tomorrow's. So we're not going to be a center in information technology tomorrow just because we have been in the past. Corporate history, generally and in this sector, is littered with the carcasses of great companies, like RCA, Polaroid, and DEC, who made the mistake of thinking they could fuel their future on the fumes of the past. My point is that with circumstances changing all around us, we can't do the same things and expect the same results. We have to step up our game to keep pace with you, and more importantly, to make it possible for you to keep pace with your competitors around the world. So we understand the advantages we have, but we have got a lot of work yet to do to help you grow your businesses, to help you expand your businesses here, so that you don't feel tempted by the calls I know you get from my counterparts in other states about coming elsewhere and expanding there. So building on initiatives of the previous administration, in the first place, we will move the permitting and regulatory processes at the speed of business. Our policy is to deliver one-stop shopping, one place to go, to wind your way through what may seem sometimes like a Byzantine maze of state approvals. If you have a need, you can call Greg Bielecki. Gail knows Greg from our Hill and Barlow days. He will be serving as this state's first permitting ombudsman and making sure that the process of setting up here is as expedient and equitable as possible. In many cases, your permitting hurdles are not so much at the state level as on the local level. We're committed to develop a stronger partnership with cities and towns to help them appreciate the importance of participating in economic expansion and to support their efforts to manage the impact. The Lieutenant Governor is in charge of rebuilding that relationship, and he is already off to a great start. If we can help you on the local level, call the Lieutenant Governor, 617-725-4000. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I know what you're dealing with every day in your businesses. I know some of you, your first thought is to call your lawyer. I love lawyers, and many of them are here. If you need your lawyer to make that call to the Lieutenant Governor or to Greg Bielecki, make it. We are not just in a hypothetical or abstract sense interested in helping you. We are interested in helping you on a project-specific basis. Pick up the phone and call, and we will do whatever we can to smooth your way. Targeted infrastructure investments will make sure that the roads are intact, that you can have a cell phone call without having to reconnect every few hundred feet, that we are up to speed in every community with broadband internet and Wi-Fi technologies. The Boston Initiative, I know that the head of it is here. We were talking to the CIO earlier about it. There is an initiative out in the Pioneer Valley as well to help expand broadband access. Look, we at the state level have got to connect those initiatives up, because our objective is universal broadband across the whole Commonwealth, not just because it's nice, but because it's an essential part of how we expand our business and our educational opportunities, and how we make that real for everybody in the Commonwealth.